Can I save all 3 newly promoted sides from relegation back to the Championship? This turned out to be one of the hardest challenges I've ever done in FM. The rules are simple: no transfers, no match fixing, all 3 teams must survive, and I can only have a maximum of 1 meta tactic. With the rules laid out, we can now go ahead and start trying to save all 3 teams in one season. Leeds got off to by far the best start of the 3 sides, getting 3 1-0 wins against Manchester City, Fulham and Newcastle, using this flat back 5 tactic. I've used back 3s before, but I've never actually tried a flat back 5, and my god did this tactic work absolute wonders at the start of the season. We were just grinding out results. I was really happy with it. By the time we played Sunderland, our form had dropped off a little bit, which is probably why they scored this early goal. I obviously simmed the games between the clubs because I didn't want to give any bias, but Leeds would go on to tie the game anyway with this beautiful free kick routine, and the game would end 1-1. Unfortunately, the draw with Sunderland would kick off a run of terrible results for Leeds, which is why we'll move on for now. Sunderland would also go on to start the season well, winning 2-1 at home to Chelsea. I chose them to use our meta tactic chip due to them having the weaker squad by far, and when you consider we're saving 2 of their relegation rivals as well, it was a no-brainer. Game week 5 saw our first affiliate matchup where Sunderland took a 1-0 win from Turf Moor, before ending their first one of the season with a historic 3-2 away win at the Emirates, Enzo Lefebvre scoring this absolute screamer, before a brilliant ball in put Sunderland 3-0 up. This was just preparation though, as our next game was the Timeware Derby. You cannot lose this one, it's a must win in any season, especially the home fixture. Failure was not an option. We started the better of the 2 sides, having 2 clear-cut chances within the first 10 minutes, but it wouldn't take us long when we converted from this beautifully worked corner. Fortunately for us, we wouldn't stop there, and we converted our second just shy of half time. Some poor defending meant that Newcastle could get a late goal, but it wasn't enough. We took home a 2-1 win. With 14 points from their first 10 games, my focus shifted from Sunderland. In my mind, they were already safe playing the most OP tactic. It's not that they couldn't get relegated, it's just they picked up points off some really good sides, and it's kind of hard to get relegated with a 4-2-3-1. Which leaves us with Burnley. I decided there was nothing more fitting than going long ball for Burnley, bringing back the Sean Dyche era, and that's why we've used the same tactic from the Southampton video last week. And I thought it was a stroke of genius as we beat Brighton 5-0 on the opening day, but things only went downhill from here.
What's going on up there? Who's marking him?
I feel physically sick, to be honest. I'm rapidly falling out of love with football. I just wonder what's the point anymore, you know.
El Mahani, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeezy peeps, man.
We picked up a win in game 17 against Everton, which meant we were just shy of safety on goal difference. We'd been struggling to score goals all season, and when Zian Fleming walked into my office and demanded more playing time, I was furious. But the players came to me and demanded I do something about it, so I gave him a run of games. Little did I know, this lad's unbelievable. After 3 standout performances, Burnley were now up into 13th, and it was now Leeds that I was worried about. There was just 3 points separating 13th from 18th and relegation back to the Championship. With Leeds back on the chopping block, I focused my attention on them, even though Burnley definitely weren't safe either. Originally, Leeds had used 2 wide centre-backs on defend and a target forward. That's not the picture I showed you at the start, because that's not what it ended on. I changed the target forward to a complete forward and one of the wide centre-backs to support. Those few extra bodies in key areas really changed the game for us. This all led to this absolutely incredible run of form where we just couldn't stop winning, or not losing. That's when we played Sunderland. The rules are simple: no match fixing, no match fixing, no match fixing.
Oh no, no.
I genuinely don't know how to prove this wasn't match fixed. As you can see, Sunderland played exactly the tactic we've been using all season. Same with Leeds. The lineups obviously simulated because I simulate the game so that there's no biases. Enzo Lefebvre not starting doesn't really help my case, but this wasn't match fixing. This was just how the game went.
It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
I will die on the hill that it wasn't match fixing. It was just a coincidence. Anyway, Leeds would then go unbeaten until the final game of the season. Hang on. He lost 4-1 to Burnley.
And stop Drogba getting himself into further trouble.
Again, I did not match fix this. There is nothing I could have done. Firpo at centre back is not helping my case at all. But even then, he's 6 foot. It shouldn't be outrageous. I simulated the game from Burnley's perspective. If I actually show you, when you're in this bit of the game, you can click here and you choose who you're in control of at that point. And when I simulated, I must have been in control of Burnley, and maybe that had some impact on it. But I did not match fix this game. And with that, Leeds were officially safe on 52 points, only actually finishing 12th. Burnley also began to hoover up results in the latter stages, winning decisive games over Arsenal, Palace, and just genuinely having an easy ride of it in the end. Let the moral of the story be, if one of your players comes asking for game time, sometimes it's actually not a bad idea to give them what they want. Normally I just shrug it off because they're useless, but Zian Fleming really saved our season at Burnley. Every game he played it felt like we won. They finished in a respectable 14th on 48 points despite playing long ball football. That's pretty good. Which leaves us with Sunderland, who, if we're honest, were never really in doubt of going down, which is surprising considering they were definitely the weakest team coming into the season. The 4-2-3-1 gegenpress is just too overpowered, and I'm probably going to avoid it like the plague from now on, because Sunderland were consistent throughout. Leeds and Burnley both had blips, Sunderland just kept picking up points, and although they barely finished above Leeds in the end, it never really felt like they were in danger going down. Consistent to their season, Sunderland finished mid-table, 11th place with 53 points. They won as many games as they lost, although they had an inferior goal difference to Leeds. They were by far the most boring, they plodded along, they stayed up, they did what they were supposed to do, but with a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, it would have been ridiculous if they hadn't. So with all three teams in it, here is the final table. It was an ultra competitive season, where even 37 points didn't keep you in the Premier League, and the title winners only got 77. But did we follow all the rules from the start of the video? Otherwise, the challenge is null and void. The rules were no transfers, no match fixing, all three teams must survive, and a maximum of one meta tactic. Well, I think we've done that. 4-2-3-1 gegenpress on Sunderland was our only meta tactic, and while it looks a bit dodgy on match fixing, after going into the games and showing the formation and lineups, it's pretty clear I didn't match fix, it was just a coincidence. So thank you everyone for watching. I kept all three promoted sides in the Premier League. Please do subscribe